This work session regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. Madam Clerk.
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this work session regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was made as required, indicating that this meeting would take place at the Municipal Building at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025.
Thank you. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for the invocation by Councilman Kimberly Francois. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
May those assembled here today enjoy the many offerings of our township. May we abide by the rules we have established, those of trust, fellowship, and ethics. And may we place service above ourselves in our daily endeavors. And may we always test ourselves in our efforts to be sure that they are truth, good for all concerned, and of benefit to all mankind, and provide peace and understanding. Let us all continue to strive to make the world a better place. Amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Here.
Councilwoman Francois?
Here.
Councilman Karazi?
Here.
Mayor Kramer?
Here.
Councilman Onijaka?
Here.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Udine? Here. Councilman Vasanella?
Here.
Councilman Wright?
We are on item number 5 of the agenda. Copies of the agenda are there by the clerk. Number 5 is commendations and proclamations. We have a presentation of the Garden State Track Club scholarships.
Good evening. On behalf of Public Safety Director Corvella Mayweather and the Franklin Township Police Department, it's an honor to be here again. This is our 3rd year in a row where we have an example of true community policing here in Franklin Township. I think it was Aristotle said, excellence. He said, we are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. And this is what we've been repeatedly doing, is forging these relationships with our community, year in and year out. So again, I have Detective Robert Brown. He's going to present the awards from the Garden State Track Club to our residents here of Franklin Township.
Good evening, everybody. Just want to say a few words about this scholarship and kind of what it means and why we're all here tonight. So we started this race in town to be a community event and to support the community. And since starting to hand out these scholarships, it's been quite fulfilling for myself, and I'm going to speak for Major Chen and Chuck, the president of Garden State Track Club, that we are doing exactly what we set out to do. We're being able to find the right seniors, and this year sometimes some juniors from Franklin High School that are going above and beyond and just doing a little bit extra. And in the running community, that's where it pays off. In the fitness community, that's where it pays off, the people that show up. You know, there's not a million people in this room, but people like you that are receiving this award tonight get used to being in small rooms with a small group of people, because doing the right thing, doing the challenging thing is not easy, and there's not always a lot of company there, right? So though it seems like a local scholarship, right, this is a testament to the years of work that you put in while here at Franklin, and it also shows that people have recognized you, right? People have spotted you out. People have taken notice of your actions and either sponsored you or highly recommended you receive this award. So when I say your name, stand up with pride, and come accept what you've earned over the last several years, either from being involved with myself or Major Chen at the high school. We're all very proud of you. All right? So our first name, Miss Isis Martinez. We're gonna get, we're gonna do the picks. We'll do the picks at the end. Yeah, we'll do the picks at the end. All right, you can stay up for a second. Our next award winner, Christian Lewis.
Yeah, he looks like he's good at track.
Miss Sarah Vasquez. So, like we talked about, these young people doing great things. So our fourth recipient couldn't be here tonight because she's already on her way to the next thing, right? And I love to see it, right? Already in school doing a little bit more than everybody else. So like I said, we're doing the right thing. So here to represent her are her parents for Miss Oladi Fambua. And then lastly, our fifth and final recipient also couldn't be here. And under terms that involved a family illness, some hard times, which we all can understand and relate to, which caused her to jump right back into all the commitments she had made on her own. So she made sure she made some good contact with me. Unfortunately, she had no one to come represent her tonight, but I do want to say her name, Miss Victoria Gabraszewski. Excellent. Congrats, guys. We wish you all the luck on your next step, wherever that takes you. Remember, Franklin will always be your home. All right? That's right.
So I have a proclamation that's not on the agenda. And if I didn't have a bad back that I'm nursing along, I'd be at the podium to do this, but I think I can do it from here. This is a proclamation honoring the distinguished service of James Vassanella, Franklin Township Councilman, Ward 5. Whereas James Vassanella has served with distinction as Franklin Township's councilman for Ward 5 since July 20th, 2005, dedicating 2 decades of unwavering commitment to the residents and community of Franklin Township. And whereas Councilman Vassanella has demonstrated exceptional leadership and public service throughout his tenure as deputy mayor in 2007, 2008, 2019, and 2021, providing steady guidance and vision during critical periods in our township's development. And whereas, therefore, throughout his extended service, Councilman Vassanella has consistently championed the needs and the interests of Ward 5 residents while working collaboratively with fellow council members to avoid the greater good, to advance the greater good of Franklin Township. And whereas Councilman Vassanella years of service represented profound commitment to democratic participation and civic duty, embodying the highest ideals of public service and community stewardship. Now, therefore, the Township of Franklin hereby recognizes and honors James Vassanella for his exemplary service as Ward 5 Councilman and Deputy Mayor, and extends its heartfelt gratitude for his dedication, leadership, and countless contributions to our community.
I am surprised and humbled, and I don't know if I can even say anything right now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm asking for unanimous consent to open to the public. Hearing no objections, we are open to the public. This is a public portion. People may come up to speak about anything regarding government. You have 5 minutes to speak. No yielding of time, may only come up once. And please state your name and address.
So good evening. My name is Shubhendu Singh, 6 Treetop Circle, Princeton Highlands. And before I get into the 2 issues that I'm here to talk about, I do want to congratulate all the awardees this evening. Nicely done. So I'm here to talk about 2 public safety issues that our community has faced over the years. One is a traffic signal that we have requested across Princeton Highlands Boulevard and State Route 27, and a pedestrian crossing from Gold Star across State Route 27. The second topic I want to quickly cover is the compressor station that has resurfaced recently. So let's talk about the traffic signal first. Many of you know it's been a long-standing issue that our community has raised. And I must add, without much progress. We continue to see accidents and near misses on a daily basis. It is a ticking time bomb. And no, it is not an HOA issue. This is not about the upkeep and enhancing common areas of our community. This is a public issue, safety. DOT has recommended this, and you've seen a lot of notes from me personally to several stakeholders. But the recommendation is from DOT, and our ask is that you convene a meeting with the appropriate stakeholders, including South Brunswick, obviously our township, DOT, and others, so we can have a conversation and come up with a pragmatic and expedient plan that defines timelines, next steps, and how we're going to fund this project. Let me pivot to the compressor station. William Transco is back, and they have reapplied with the FERC. Our community continues to see safety risks. They continue to see health risks. They continue to see ecological risk and environmental risks associated with this project. For all these risks, we believe they are undue and unnecessary, with no upside for our township. So our ask is that you continue to oppose this project. And I want to acknowledge and thank Councilman Potasnik's support and leadership on this issue. And before I leave, I know there are several members of our community here. I want to acknowledge and thank them for their support and their presence today. And I would urge you on action on both of these items. Thank you.
Hi, Rob Peterson, 66 Wilson Road. Good evening, Mayor Kramer, Council. Just want to address something that was mentioned at last month's meeting. Mr. Alex Clark spoke last month about ranked choice voting, or as I like to call it, ranked choice roulette. You can find it on the meeting starting at minute 21:45. He said, Mikey Sherrill won with about 34% of the vote, but what if one day it isn't Mikey Sherrill? What if instead it's a demagogue, a dangerous extremist, even someone who just doesn't truly represent us, who is able to still win with maybe 34% of the vote, 27% of the vote, because they have an energized cult following, while the rest of the vote is split among many other candidates. With RCV, that dangerous extremist will have a harder time winning, because in order to win, he'll need majority support, and most people will reject extremism. Well, who do we have running in New York City? Pretty crazy, isn't it? Skip ahead to minute 38:54, your response, Mayor Kramer. You said this Democratic primary convinced you of the need for ranked choice roulette, I guess because there were too many candidates. Whoa, you'd much prefer, what the Democrats did at the presidential level and just pick somebody, just take the vote away from everybody and just select Kamala Harris. Maybe that's what you would want. You said a lot of people called you the night before the election and asked your advice on who to vote for, and you concluded that you're now a fan of ranked choice voting. So I would just urge you and the council to seriously consider this. Maybe you'll repent. Some talking points against ranked choice voting. So RCV is unnecessarily complex. It violates the principles of most vote wins. The ballot exhaustion is real. If a voter's ranked candidates are all eliminated, their ballot no longer counts, disenfranchising them. In some elections, 20 to 30% of the ballots get thrown out before the final tally. RCV is opaque and hard to verify. You can't easily hand count an RCV election. It requires computer algorithms. I mean, what you're espousing is dangerous. It's roulette. It's expensive and unnecessary. New machines, voter education, implementation costs, divert resources from real election reforms that we actually need. It suppresses bold ideas. RCV favors the least objectionable, not the most visionary candidate who inspires passionate support. They're often punished while bland consensus candidates sneak and weasel their way through. It's incompatible with our constitutional system. If scaled up, RCV would undermine the Electoral College and introduce chaos into presidential elections. It doesn't strengthen our republic, it bypasses that. It's a solution in search of a problem. Our current system is simple, time-tested, and understandable. Let's not break what isn't broken in the name of trendy reform. And I would just close with, let's defend the integrity of our elections by keeping them transparent, accessible, and rooted in the proven principles that have served us for generations. Ranked choice roulette isn't progress, it's a gimmick.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Alex Clark, 396 Hamilton Street, and I would be happy to talk to the speaker or any of you in more depth about those points. Many of them were not correct. But I have a statement here, and I want to focus on that because I only have 5 minutes. I want to talk about ranked choice in the New York City mayoral primary, since it was recent. First, you have to give credit where it's due. Zoran Mamdani went from single-digit support in February to winning the election with 56% of the vote. He mobilized nearly 50,000 volunteers, 50,000. Mamdani ran a strong campaign, but part of his success was because ranked choice voting changes how voters approach elections, and it changes how candidates run their campaigns. First, we saw increased turnout. New York City saw the highest turnout of voters in a primary since 1989. Among early voters, 21% were 25 to 34 years old, and that was easily the largest age group. Young people were also the largest age group in the election overall. Mamdani mobilized many young voters and many first-time voters. He captured demographics that Democrats have long struggled to mobilize. In plurality elections, multiple candidates are often discouraged from running out of fear of splitting the vote or dividing their party. Ranked choice eliminates that concern because voters can rank all the candidates they like. As a result, more candidates are encouraged to run. In New York, the race was very competitive with 11 candidates on election day. In industry, we understand that robust competition can raise quality standards. Likewise, competition can also raise the quality of candidates running for office. On the other hand, in a monopoly or an oligopoly, where there is limited or no competition, quality plummets because there is no incentive to innovate or improve. We see a similar shortcoming in two-party politics. We hear of people who complain about having to vote for the lesser of two evils, as they say, and a case can be made that one party is far worse than the other, but nonetheless, many voters are not happy with the limited choices they have. Ranked choice helps to reduce negative campaigning because you don't want to alienate voters who can still rank you second or third if you're not their first choice. Ranked choice promotes coalition building instead of mudslinging. Zoran Mamdani and Brad Lander cross-endorsed each other while both were still in the race. Normally, a candidate would drop out first before endorsing an opponent. Mamdani reached his fundraising limit and told supporters to donate to Adrian Adams. That also would never happen in a plurality election because you don't want to support a candidate that you're running against, and you don't want your opponents to steal your votes. This kind of shift away from negative campaigning can help reduce voter fatigue, which is especially important in our long election cycles. It will also be easier to unite similar-minded voters after a tough primary where there is less resentment to sort through afterward. Mamdani understood ranked choice voting. He leveraged the strengths of ranked choice to run a better kind of campaign. It was largely a positive campaign, and it was a campaign that resonated with young voters and disaffected voters and got those voters to turn out. That benefits the people because when voters turn out, we elect representatives who better represent us, and we get a government that better represents us. I want to give you an example of what a resolution might look like that the town might pass. This is the resolution that Montclair passed last year, and I just want to, I can leave this copy with you if you haven't gotten it yet. Just let me know. But what it does is, one, supports the passage of S1622 and A4042, which is the state bill that defines ranked choice and allows voters in a municipality to vote on it if desired, and we're still voting on it. Two, it supports commitment of state resources to increase awareness of ranked choice and to educate the public. Three, it calls on the Assembly Speaker and Senate President to advance the bill for committee consideration and votes by their respective houses. And four, it requests the Township Clerk to provide copies of the resolution to the Assembly Speaker and Senate President and members of our legislative district delegation. That's it. A resolution like this is very harmless. It requires little commitment from the town. Yet it is very important in that it helps us signal to our state representatives that ranked choice is something we are interested in, and it tells them that we want the opportunity to vote to improve our election process and strengthen our democracy. Thank you.
Sir, there's people back there waiting. Oh, no problem. Hi, Rob Johnson, 15 Lion.
Got to speak right into the mic.
Sorry. Damn it.
No, I'm sorry, we have a mic that's that bad.
Rob Johnson, 15 Lion. We good now?
Yep.
Okay. This is going to be simple and brief. I'm the one that's contacted Mayor Kramer concerning the animal feeding issues over on 27. I just want to thank you and the council for relatively quickly getting an ordinance together. And there's some problems I have, but we'll hammer it out during the public hearing session. But I just wanted to thank thank everybody for that.
Well, if we can't change things.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to point it out to you during it. I just don't want to hold everybody's
There's no
time.
public hearing tonight.
I know, next week, in a couple weeks, in a month.
But if
And you won't be able to change it.
you won't be able to.
Well, okay, then we'll go into it very quickly. Basically, the issues that I have concerning it are the colony issue. That you're basically, the whole point is to prevent, in my view, is to prevent a colony from happening. And that's what I've been working to stop with the local people near me that have been feeding the animals. That if you don't stop it before it becomes a problem, that's the whole point. It is kind of almost rewards the efforts of them surreptitiously going on private property, leaving bowls of food out, leaving water out, and I just think that should probably be revisited. But if this gets passed the first time and then amended with another ordinance later, I don't know, but whatever. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Nice and simple. Thanks.
Javon Walker, 15 Kuhn Street. I'd like to just ask the question, there's an upcoming World Cup, and this is going to sound very different than what usually people come to City Council and talk about, but there's a World Cup, next year, 2026, and New Jersey has a couple matches all the way through the final. The question that I asked of the council is there any upcoming planning to accommodate for the World Cup? The World Cup is such a global event. Franklin Township has 60 to 70,000 residents, and I truly think that my idea of some kind of accommodation for the World Cup, I thought about it and thought that maybe there could be daily viewing in the gazebo area to be able to watch World Cup matches. I don't know what time the matches could be, 12, 3, 6, 9 o'clock, I don't know. But I really think that for a generational event in the U.S., I think that it should, Franklin Township could be the first or the only municipality in the area or the state outside of Jersey City that could make a whole welcoming event for the community. You have so many residents from other countries that will love to see their country represented as such an athletic event. That's the purpose of the Olympics. It could be the purpose for the World Cup. I've had ideas of, like I said, accommodating a big screen, contracting out to vendors, doing whatever, but you could make a very inclusive environment for everyone. If they don't have the money to be able to pay for tickets, they could come, whether Franklin charged $0 or even charge $1, $2 tickets, but a whole family could come, be able to cheer on their respective country, if not the United States, and it's just a welcoming environment. And something tells me that close by municipalities, if not every other municipality, has not even broached this idea. So I think by nature, Franklin Township could be the leader in this. And I'd just like to say again that I think if this is not done or even broached, I think it could be a total, I'm not going to say a waste, but I think it will definitely be dropping the ball on behalf of the municipality. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great idea about the World Cup. Good evening, council members. Good evening, everybody in attendance. My name is Joseph Nygaard. We're from 727 Franklin Boulevard. I want to speak on an issue that Lou Raynon is familiar with. My wife, Kiana, and I, we're the owners of NJ Green Scene. We're a proposed dispensary right here in Franklin Township. We're proudly Black-owned, woman-owned, and disabled veteran-owned. We're local residents for over 20 years. We're a true local micro business, and we represent exactly what cannabis legalization in New Jersey was meant to support. We have had site control, we've had zoning approval, and a letter of municipal support from this very council since 2023. Yet, we're still not open. Why? We're not open because you guys capped the number of dispensaries in town after we'd already begun moving forward. We were delayed due to unforeseen investor issues, problems with the back end of our business. They were not due to incompetence or inaction, but to internal challenges that we've worked very hard to overcome. To now penalize us for that and exclude us from the market that we helped to build is not just unfair, but it's a betrayal of the spirit of cannabis legalization. To deny a disabled veteran and an African-American woman the ability to open their business in this town is more than just bad optics. It's unjust, and it goes against the principles of equity and inclusion that cannabis legalization was supposed to be about. I also need to address a falsehood that you guys keep repeating. The township has claimed that the state of New Jersey said they would limit the number of dispensary licenses issued in Franklin. When residents or business owners come in and complain, there's so many dispensaries everywhere, the town just throws their hands in the air and passes the buck to Trenton. Well, that's not how it works. That's not how it ever worked, okay? New Jersey's cannabis law explicitly gives local governments the power to regulate how many licenses they allow in their town. That's not a secret. It was front page news during the legalization process. You have to stop passing the buck to Trenton. You guys approved all these businesses, and now, because of problems, you're going back. The real reason for the cap is obvious. There's political pressure from the existing dispensaries. We all remember last October when Shani Madamanova, the owner of Leaf House Dispensary on Easton Avenue, stood in this very room and said, "How can I bring my cultivation site to Franklin when you keep approving new dispensaries?" a statement that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. What did the township do? You caved. You let yourselves be bullied by a business that is widely known throughout our cannabis community as being a culture vulture and selling overpriced products designed only for the wealthy with no connection to the communities that made cannabis what it is today. Meanwhile, NJ Green Scene, a local grassroots equity-centered business, is just shut out. This isn't about rules or regulations anymore. It's about Franklin Township protecting big business at the expense of the very people that legalization was meant to uplift. We launched, I didn't just come here to call things like that out. I came here with a solution. We launched a petition at change.org. We've received over 300 signatures from community members who support our effort. And the petition includes a clear, fair, and actionable proposal to amend ordinance number 4456-24 in a way that would allow NJ Green Scene and other equity-driven businesses a fair path into the market while preserving a guaranteed space for micro businesses, in Franklin Township moving forward. We're not here to disrupt. We're here to participate, build, and serve. We're asking for the township to stand with the people, and you guys have the power to fix this. So we're ready to work with you whenever you're ready to work with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Valerie Martelli. I reside at 41 Crabapple Lane in Franklin Park, and I'm in Society Hill at Somerset 1. Rob Johnson spoke about the issue that I am going to speak about regarding the ordinance that is having its first reading tonight regarding the feeding of animals. It's an important topic. It's particularly been an issue in my community. In the condo association, Rob's association is adjacent to ours. I did forward an email with my concerns with this particular amendment because, particularly as Rob mentioned, about the issue of trap, neuter, release colonies, which we haven't dealt with. The state of New Jersey Health Department leaves this up to the county and the municipality to determine whether they are appropriate and what rules have to be followed for any of these trap, neuter, release colonies to be established. In our community, there have been people that have done this ad hoc on their own, kind of under the radar, and then after the fact told us about what they had done and the people that they had involved. As it turned out, they didn't ask permission. They didn't find out about this. I knew really very little about trap, neuter, release. It sounds like a wonderful idea on paper. You're reducing the population of cats by trapping them and neutering them so that they will not produce more animals outside and reduce the number of cats in a colony. But the part that is problematic is the continued feeding of those colonies, because food is left outside or given to these cats. They're bringing them right to individuals' residences. The cats defecate all over the area. They vomit. They do all sorts of lovely things. And they're in the parking lots. They get inside cars. It's detrimental, actually, to the animals' health, and it jeopardizes the health of pets, wildlife in the community. There are also organizations which do not support trap, neuter, release. In fact, the state of New Jersey doesn't really take a position on it. As I said earlier, they leave it up to the township to kind of craft something on how this is going to be determined, with the County Board of Health. We don't have to do this. And in the way that this is proposed, we're actually kind of giving a way to sanction these communities. It's also written here that it's up to the property owner to decide whether they want one of these colonies on their property. So say, for instance, in Society Hill 1, our association has already said we do not want to support this for many reasons. It's not good in this closed community where people have access to each other. But if Society Hill 2, say, they decide we want to have this in our community, we don't really have any say about that. Now, in this proposed amendment, it does say that if the cats become a nuisance, you can deal with it after the fact. But as I said in my email, it's kind of like dealing with the cat after it's gotten out of the barn. It's kind of a little too late at that point. We have a responsibility, I think, to protect the environment, to protect the wildlife, to protect our pets, to protect our humans. And I understand the concerns of the people who support taking care of these animals who have been abandoned, dropped off, gotten lost, gotten out. That is a concern. But even PETA actually says that euthanasia can be the kindest option. Living outside for cats is not a healthy environment. They're not meant to live outside. They're not native species in an outside environment. It's not good for their health. They don't get any kind of medical or veterinary care. So I did speak with Katie from Animal Control. She's helped me with situations in our community to try to kind of educate people. I went to the County Board of Health, and they were not able to make any kind of progress with this because they have to actually visually see somebody feeding animals. So that's the one thing that I'm concerned about this amendment. If a police officer or animal control actually has to observe someone doing this, that's a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kunal Lakhia, and I reside at 8 Super Court, Princeton, New Jersey. First of all, I thank the council for always being supportive and taking care of the community very well. So kudos to all of you, and kudos to all the kids who won the award today. Very well done. I speak today in support of a topic that Shubhendu, who's our past HOA president, I speak on behalf of all the families and as a current member of the HOA, along with Tamiz and other members. Tamiz is also part of an HOA and other members who are here in support of the traffic light and the pedestrian crossing that we have been kind of following up for a long period of time. There has been some action. There has been approvals. DOT approved after doing the traffic analysis and so on. But right now, where it stands, we need further support till it actually happens. It is not just about convenience, it is about safety. Multiple, and I mean multiple school buses come in and out using that entrance. Not just cars. Not just other residents. We will need support to get all the different parties that are involved and not just make it an HOA issue, because it is not. It is not about maintaining some lawn or something within a community. It is about a main traffic light which happens to fall between two townships, and we need to figure out a way how we are going to make that light happen and expeditiously. We are willing to work, we are willing to meet, we are willing to do anything that this council believes can be done, but something has to be done about it. Once again, I'm very thankful for all the support that we have received, but I think we have to see this topic through. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing no one come forward, I ask for unanimous consent to close public portion. Without objection, public portion. I ask for unanimous consent to close public portion. Seeing no objections, public portion is closed. Time to address the questions. Well, we began and end with the traffic light. So the state has approved it. I'll let Mr. Vornlocker talk about South Brunswick.
So the state has said that it meets the warrants as far as our warrant analysis, not that they've approved it. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
The state requires a 25% contribution when you put into combination the two lights, the pedestrian signal, which is in fact proposed to be a traffic signal, just pedestrian actuated traffic signal, and then the signal at the four-way intersection of Princeton Highlands Boulevard and 27. You're probably in the neighborhood of about $500,000 total, 25%, then do the math. And in ordinary circumstances, that cost would be split in this case between the two municipalities, given the fact that the highway divides the two municipalities, South Brunswick and Franklin. We have had correspondence and communication with South Brunswick, and they have said in no uncertain terms, while they would not oppose those signals, they will not be contributing financially to those signals.
Thank you.
Can I follow up with a question for the manager on that?
Sure.
There's other options too, right? There's the 25% share, but one of the options is the state would pay for it.
There is.
Themselves,
That's
100%.
correct. You put it in their capital plan, and my assumption is that if it gets approved at the state level for inclusion in their capital plan, that could mean that a traffic signal would be my guess, sometime between 5 and 10 years out before it went into design and the full engineering of it at that level. So yes, that was certainly an option that was given.
That's the no-cost option.
That's the no cost to the township, either township for that matter. Yes, correct.
Then there's the option also where we pay for all of it.
There's the option where we pay for all of it, and it could get done as soon as we include it in our capital budget. Correct.
So we're talking about $500,000 versus $125,000 versus nothing, but different time periods.
Different time periods, correct.
So most of council doesn't know what I'm about to say occurred. I talked to the two of you, as you well know, and I thought council knows about the project, but approving the money is one issue. Is an issue, and I thought it would be easier to go to council to say we're going to do this if we had the community HOA contribute. So, and somewhere between $100 and $200 a home. The major benefit is to the HOA, and that's why I thought that would be fair. The other thing is the precedent to there are many places, many communities that come onto Route 27, and if we put up a light for you without any cost from you, that's a precedent, and others might be asking for that. So I asked you that, and I was waiting for an answer. And I offered, as you recall, to go before your HOA board or at an HOA meeting to discuss that. Now, that might be shocking other council members. I'm telling you that because I don't want you to blame them for that offer if you don't like that offer. That's all on me. So that's where we are, and I was waiting for you to respond.
And Mayor, just to add to one part of that there's one option that hasn't been discussed, and the Department of Transportation in the past, over the many years that I've dealt with them, has also put forward this option, that the community pay for the signal in its entirety. and then it could be done immediately. That option was offered to an apartment complex on Route 27 in Franklin Park, and it was also offered to a homeowners association during my tenure in the police department. So that option is also one that certainly could be considered as well. Clearly, that's not going to happen here, but it is an option.
Okay. The World Cup's a good idea. I don't know how we, as you and I discussed, actually, daytime, large screen, I'm not sure how we would accomplish that. I mean, I'm talking about a movie theater-sized screen. Mr. Manager, you look like you.
I have a son who's very much looking forward to the World Cup, and so it's a great idea. The logistics of it are difficult, and it's also at a time where we'll be leaning next year on staff for the 250th anniversary of our country and events related to that. So I just don't want to overstretch. Our recreation department is only comprised of, about 5 full-time staff members. So it's not something that is without some labor. But certainly we can have a discussion about it.
Tell Safi to do it. She can do anything.
Tell Safi, yeah. So understand that Safi is my special projects manager, not a member of the recreation department. And I know that sometimes our council members forget that, but she has many other functions other than all of the special fun things that we all want to see happen.
Mr. Mayor, may I just add one comment? Being a soccer fan, I think it's a great idea, and of course, if we had a large place to have everybody in one place, will be ideal. But perhaps we can look at some other options to bring people together, such as houses of worship, even schools. In certain times of the day, perhaps a school will be available with their big halls for people to go and watch. And the house of worship, we have quite a few of them in town, as you may know. So it's a great idea, but we should have options open.
Right. And Mayor, instead of Safi, perhaps we have a staff member who I believe you all know up here, who's probably the biggest, in his mind, football fan, not soccer fan, in Vince Dominack. So perhaps he has some spare time to organize events for the World Cup.
He might enjoy that.
He might enjoy that.
I'd love to be part of that, too.
Mayor, just want to add, no, I think it's great, Mr. Walker, for bringing that forward. Everything Bob said is right. We don't want to stretch ourselves too thin, but could maybe, there's more than I realized until recently because people have been talking about it, but there's soccer clubs, soccer enthusiasts. I know it gets a little sticky, but maybe Mr. Walker and a few other key people could get a civilian committee going and bring ideas, and Bob's great at working out what we can legally do, not do, and we could be sponsoring and helping move it along, maybe provide the space, but this way the staff doesn't get burdened, and sometimes soccer enthusiasts know a lot better than even some of our staff. And Vince could, as a volunteer, serve on that committee.
We do have the Board of Ed campus building that is a community building that perhaps might be a location where those who wanted to cheer on their teams might be able to meet there. It's certainly a topic that we can have further discussion about.
But if
I don't want to belabor it here.
If the public wanted to
have discussion, absolutely.
Okay.
Like I said,
great.
we can have a discussion.
Thank you for bringing it, Mr. Walker.
So Mayor, the last World Cup, I was in India at the time, and many corners of every city, there were huge, large screen TVs, and the matches were live cast, and people just gather together and have a good time. And these are all done by local clubs, football, athletic clubs, or something like that. It's a great community event happening all over the country. Even India is not very good in football, soccer. Even there, it is super, super popular, and I think it's a wonderful thing if you can pull it off somehow, a manager.
But another thing I think that will be an obstacle is time. because I know World Cup, they play World Cup all through the day, 24 hours. So time is going to be a very important factor to keep it going, too.
Okay, moving on. Mr. Renone, would you address the cannabis issue?
Yeah, only that, Mayor, as you know, only to say this, which is I have been in communication with this cannabis, prospective cannabis licensee, their attorney, probably over the course of the last 3 or 4 months. I've answered all of their questions. Primarily, the issue is that we're over the cap in terms of the number of licenses. I know that, you know, one of their points is that, well, I got a resolution of support. Well, we gave out resolutions of support to, I think, a number of people, more than a number of licenses. And the purpose of that was to give everybody an opportunity to see if they could put together a business and get it operated in town. At some point in time, and I disagree with the characterization as to how it is that council came to the conclusion that they wanted to cap it. And the reason I disagree with that is because I have the benefit of sitting in all of these council meetings and listening to all of you talk about it. So at some point in time, as the gentleman indicated, the town has the right to set the limit. I don't, you know, once again, and I disagree with the characterization that somehow we were all waiting for the state to step in and do this. I don't think anybody understood, because the cannabis law is completely new, how it would operate. I don't think anybody understood the fact that there are only 100 or so towns that would allow cannabis facilities in their towns. So thus concentrating those licenses in a small number of places. So ultimately, the council exercised its discretion. This property owner did not have an approval from the state. They didn't get it until, I believe, February or March, well after the license. They weren't in the pipeline. They didn't fit in the grandfather clause that got us to 23, not 24 licenses. And, you know, we've been kind of open and direct and responsive to them all during, Bob will tell you, because every time I get an email, I send it to him. I ask him how I should respond, and I respond almost the same day. So I think that's kind of where we are. I don't know what else I can say on that point, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Animal feeding prohibition, we're going to discuss that more later. Cat colonies, do you have an answer for that, Mr. Potasnik?
I think there's a misunderstanding sort of how it's written. So the township manager can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see in any way that it's encouraging. The discouragement is still the same. If someone doesn't adopt the colony, you're not allowed to feed the animals. Right. But if you love the cats and you want to humanely feed them, there's a process to do that. As a cat owner myself, as an animal lover myself, I think that's the right thing to do, and it's modeled after our neighboring town Hillsborough's ordinance with some slight modifications, including homeowners associations or homeowners if you live in a rental. We need to be giving permission for that. So the second piece of it is if the cats are a nuisance to the neighbors, that's not allowed. So if they can't control the cat colony, if you can't make sure the cat is spayed or neutered, if you can't vaccinate the cat, then you can't feed the cat.
And if it's bothering you, you can complain, and they have to mitigate the cat bothering you. And if they can't, they have to remove the cat.
They have to remove the cat.
So right now, the situation is there's no ordinance around this, and there's no way to enforce anything. This adds a lot of enforcement and also the ability for someone to humanely keep the colony that is not disturbing the neighbors under very strict circumstances that protect public health and safety, and also, you know, appreciate and respect the life of the cat and their contributions to the individual that has a bond with them.
So, and I just want to chime. So the ability to enforce is one that I kind of want to chime in here because I have a little bit of experience in enforcement. And the issue here is that I think that oftentimes people don't understand what is required to enforce really any law. So the answer is yes. Someone has to make an observation of a violation. A law enforcement officer or an animal control officer or a health inspector, whatever that role is, you have to make an observation. Right? That you know, we in this state don't do things like photo radar, or, you know, there was a little experiment with photo traffic signals that kind of went down the tubes really quickly. We are a state that relies on the observations of its enforcement officers to take enforcement action. But what this ordinance allows for is to be able to identify not only those who are doing it within the confines of the ordinance, and caring for and maintaining a cat colony that has been neutered or, you know, spayed or neutered, all of those other things that go along with this ordinance. But it also allows us to identify those locations that aren't complying with the law. And what we don't have now is a law that prohibits this type of activity. And if you talk about the ability of police or animal control to enforce it, well, if we outright banned it completely, we would still have the same circumstance as it relates to enforcement. So it's kind of a moot point. The issue of enforcement is that if we receive complaints that someone is feeding a feral cat colony somewhere where there is no cat colony registered, then those people responsible for enforcement can take those steps necessary to identify the violators and bring enforcement action against them. That's the way laws work. So I don't think that there's, what this does is, while it gives a certain amount of latitude to someone who wants to honestly take on a great responsibility, because it is a great responsibility. This ordinance says that that cat colony is yours forever. There's no getting out from it. All right? So that means the moment that you make that conscious decision to own these cats, they are yours forever until they all die. Okay? So that's a lifetime commitment. And I don't know how many people will be willing to take on that responsibility. So that leaves us with then enforcement of the other part of the ordinance that says you can't do this. And I think that that's where this ordinance wins.
Okay.
I have a couple of observations on this subject.
So we're going to discuss this
separately?
I wanted to answer
Okay.
immediately, but when we get to the first reading, we'll discuss it in detail. Those are all the subjects I had. Anyone else in council want to respond? Okay, then we are moving on. Council comments, reports. Mr. Potasnik.
I have no comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Potasnik. Mr. Vassanello.
We had a public safety meeting today. The main thing that came out of that was that Uncle Tank's Restaurant, I mean, there was other things, but this is the thing appropriate to announce to the public here. All the proceeds from their doggy menu and other designated items are going to be donated to the Franklin Township Animal Shelter. I know we've had a lot of talk today about the cat thing, but in general, I think most everyone in this town is aware of and committed to our wonderful resources here at our Franklin Animal Shelter. It can be ordered to be takeout, delivery, and dine-in, weather permitting. So bottom line is there's a lot of financial assistance that comes, and please support that effort if you can. Again, that's Uncle Tank's Restaurant, and that's Elizabeth Avenue, from what I understand.
Yes, it is. And you can order those dog dishes via Grubhub if you so choose to have delivered to your house, and your dog will greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. We had a Hamilton board meeting last night. Not a lot came out of it. Well, we did a lot, but a lot of it's about the events in the fall. There were some questions about the work that was going on, which is all good, the water work and other upgrades, but getting some communication glitches worked out because we have a lot of contractors in the area. This year, trunk or treat, I know it's crazy, 3.5 months from now will be trunk or treat. It's on a Saturday the 25th instead of, well, not instead of, because that's the last Saturday before Halloween, August, there's Week of the People, but other projects are coming to Hamilton Street, but we haven't been able to review. Plans are being redone and submitted. A few new projects. They looked interesting, but of course we got to review them, make sure it's going to work for the overall street. And I just really was overwhelmed and shocked. Just when I thought I didn't have to keep an eye on Phil, apparently he was plotting behind my back. Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I mean to call you Phil, but thank you for the proclamation. You know, when you read it, I was in shock. But
Your clerk had a lot to do with it.
well, I was going to say, I didn't want to name names, but I oddly, a lot of people hear it, and I'm sitting here, all you're reading and realizing, and just to point out a few, Mayor, yourself, and Carl, I used to call him, Councilman Wright, who's not here. Before I was even on council, we were working on building that TV station. So for what it's worth, I'm not going to go over everybody, but the mayor and Councilman Wright, we were in the trenches together before we even got on council. Very different people, very different personalities, same goal. And I say that in the 90s, I was campaigning for Councilwoman Kimberly Francois because I didn't know her personally, but I heard all this good stuff about her. And she's here, still here. Lou, who for the most part of the last 25 years have been here, I probably annoyed with some questions prior to getting on council, bothering him at the Dios there before we even had the TV cameras. And Bob, of course, was, before I really knew who he was, but he was so tall you couldn't miss him, was talking and complaining about auto accidents in the 5th Ward, where I've lived for over 60 years. And God knows, I think he was a sergeant then. So for what it's worth, I don't know if you can find people with such different personalities and different backgrounds and different connections to Franklin. But the irony of it is, you all have the same goal. And there's nobody here that I believe is not here for the right reason, whether it's been a recent council person or people, and like our clerk who started around when I started. I can't remember who started first, but people seem to sometimes want to stay. Aren't always allowed to. I've been blessed, and that's how I look at it. I've been blessed. God and the voters are the ones that allow me to be here, in my opinion. One last little tidbit. Time goes really fast. I was just thinking the other day, ironically, because it is T250 or Franklin 250, FT 250, whatever we're calling it. 1976, I was delivering Star Ledger newspapers in the same neighborhood I grew up in the basement of my mother's house, where she still lives. And it was a heat wave. And I remember reading, I had a stack of papers left over, 1976, we were celebrating the 50th anniversary. Well, fast forward, half a century. And here we are, by mayor's permitting me to and appointing me to serve on the 250th anniversary. So just through that little tidbit, time goes really fast, and you find yourself sometimes working with people you probably don't have a real lot in common with, but you have the most important thing in common with: service and and respect for the community and each other. So, Mayor, before I lose it, thank you, and anyone else, including especially our clerk, who put that out there. But let me tell you, I hope if I'm ever that surprised again, it's for a good thing, because I was really surprised. Thank you. Sorry for taking up so much time, but I figure I can capsulize 20 years in 5 minutes. That's pretty good. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr.
And thank you to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Vasanella. Ms. Francois.
Councilman Vasanella, I looked at the mayor and I said, he really is surprised because he has nothing to say. Congratulations on your 20 years of service. The only thing I want to, when we come to the cats, I'll make my comment about the cats. But for the World Cup, there were a lot of suggestions that came out, but I definitely think it should be a groundswell from the community. And you have a great idea, and you need to bring some people together and come up with some ideas and, you know, bring them to us, and we can figure out what we can do. Low-cost ideas. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Or maybe free.
Thank you. Mr. Embarrasson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There were several meetings that I was part of, starting from the YMCA action, the steering committee on the 30th. We talked about reaching out to more people in town and mobilizing them to be all in. Our campaign theme is all in. So that's going on. There was a Storage Board Authority board meeting, as well as the Greater Raritan Workforce Development Board meeting on the 26th and the 1st. Franklin High School graduation. I was surprised that Council Member Potasnik didn't touch upon that, so he and I were there.
Expedite.
Okay. All right. So we were there as usual. You know, this year the weather was good, so we stayed nice and cool under the tent, and 700 and somewhat students graduated. It was a wonderful event as usual. I think not too long ago, Deputy Mayor Udin's daughter graduated last year, so it was great. And then I think there was a land use meeting that we discussed. Some internal matters that we attended. That's about it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Onlijaka.
Yes, sir. Okay, Mayor. Councilman Vasanella, I want to join other members of the council to congratulate you for your good job. And most especially, I know you're in good terms with the African community. You've been very, very helpful to them. Even before I joined the council, they've been talking good of you. So I'm happy that you receive an award towards that direction today. And also, one of my friends just left. He said, Chief Otumba, the daughter is one of the recipients of this scholarship. So because of time, he just left. Another thing is the Somerset Park, very close to where I live. They just installed their electric car charger in their premises, which makes it easy for the residents to charge, though I don't know the exact amount they charge for it. But it's a very good improvement in that vicinity, within that area. Mayor, that's what I have tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Karazi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, as you may know, we had a blood drive in Township at 49 Cedar Grove Lane, Sadiq School. And I'm happy to let you know that we had a pretty good, actually, participant and donation. I was told that the blood that was donated could save up to 200 patients. So that's a wonderful thing that happened. And again, I encourage anybody who can donate blood, please consider there's still emergency, there's still some need for the blood, and that's really appreciated. Two other items, July 12th, Saturday at 8 p.m., there is going to be a Firefly Walk. and it's going to be at John Clyde Memorial Native Grassland Preserve. So bring the family. It's going to be a lot of fun, and also there's an astronomy. Okay, so you will be able to hopefully see some of the stars and the other space areas. And HRC meeting is going to be on July 23rd, and we will have the new high school principal who will be coming. Ms. Miles will be coming to talk about her mission and the goals. And I also want to take the opportunity to wish the best for our HRC Junior Commissioner, Roham Khalida, who graduated, and we also want to welcome the new one who was appointed, and that's Daya Patel, and she'll be the new junior commissioner. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Udine.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. So I have a few things that I want to report on. First, this World Cup is getting interesting now. More interested around the logistics of it and talking about low-cost ideas. I remember growing up and having like bed sheets over and then pointing out with the projector, right? Like it's just to make some ideas. It's a community event, so not sure what kind of low-cost Ms. Princess is talking about, but I'm thinking about bed sheets. Massive bed sheets. Okay, moving on. So tomorrow's planning board meetings had Onyx on the agenda, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's been posted. The meeting's canceled now, has been postponed for September 17th now. So if you had it on your agenda for tomorrow, as I did, please make sure that you have it rescheduled for the 17th. Now moving on to the other big one that we always get asked is around the B9. So I have an update for you on the B9 is that on August 6th, the planning board will meet. As of now, we know that's the date, August 6th at 7:30 at the Consalta building. And the planning board will review the draft conditions of the approval. Again, it's a draft. And the public will have an opportunity to speak. So please put that on your calendar as well. And a lot of folks have been asking about that. So August 6th at 7:30. There's another thing that I've mentioned the last couple council meetings is the kickoff of the Summer Health Series. And that is now officially on the agenda. And if you go to our website, you're going to find it available. And it talks about how the Franklin Township residents are invited to take charge of their mental, physical, and financial well-being this summer by participating in the 2025 Summer Health Series. It's a free educational wellness program. This engaging series is made possible through the collaborative efforts of the Franklin Township Department of Special Projects, Franklin Township Parks and Rec, and the Franklin Township Mayor's Wellness Campaign. And it will be hosted at Franklin Township Community Center, 505 DeMott Lane. And the first one starts on July 21st, Somerset Helps Mobile Outreach Van, followed by July 24th, Plan for the Future, estate planning with our county surrogate, Tina Jola. And then July 30th, St. Peter's will be around doing a bone density screening. July 31st, I know we had Ms. Tallman talk about this. It's Let's Talk About Anxiety, and it's led by Phyllis Beals. So there's a lot going on, bunch of seminars that are being offered to assist our residents, specifically our seniors who have asked for some of these seminars to address some of their concerns. So please feel free to make sure you attend these sessions. And what else do I have? I think, and I just want to congratulate you, Mr. Vasanella, for your 20 years of service.
Thank you.
He's been sitting either on my left side or my right side since I've been here, so thank you so much. Learned a lot from you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. For my comments, I usually don't say much. I'm going to go a little longer. Councilwoman Francois will kick me if I go too long. First of all, we forgot last time to congratulate Mr. Potasnik on being, what, the 60th most handsome man in New Jersey? Or, no, 60th most powerful
It's like a policymaker, you know.
Influential.
Something.
Influential. I thought
But I liked your first one better, quite frankly.
Besides that, I want to discuss Franklin 250. It's a celebration of our 250th anniversary, concentrating on the Revolutionary War period, anything from the Stamp Act to George Washington's inauguration. So the backbone of this is going to be on 5 events, and we want to celebrate each of the 5. The first event is the Conference on Horseback, January 3rd, 1777. The Battle of Princeton was just ended, and they've got to decide what to do. Do we go to New Brunswick, or do we go to Jockey Hollow and hide out over the winter? Spoilers, they went to Jockey Hollow. Had they gone to New Brunswick, they were 3 days without sleep, but if they had gone there, no one was guarding the gold in New Brunswick, and they could have ended the war there. But it's probably wise of them to not go to Jockey Hollow. I'm getting too long-winded on this. The second one is the Battle of Millstone. It's also called the Millstone Courthouse Battle, Van Nuys Mills Battle, January 20th, 1777. One of the first times the militia, after the signing of the Declaration, defeated the British. That happened here in Franklin. Then the March to Monmouth, or this is French, Feu de Joie, I probably pronounced that wrong, it means fire of joy, is recognized as the first 4th of July fireworks celebration ever. That happened on the banks of the Raritan River where landing lane bridges. And then Rochambeau's march to Yorktown, very important, came through the town. It actually went on both edges of the town, down Route 27, down River Road, and finally over to a road that wasn't Canal Road then, but a different road. And the important thing is that started in Rhode Island, which had a large African-American, mainly African-American regiment that marched through Franklin. That was the regiment. That was the regiment that Hamilton led, that was at the tip of the spear to take out the leading redoubt of the British and won the war for us. And then the last thing is at Rockingham. Washington was at Rockingham when he learned of the Treaty of Paris and wrote his farewell address to resign as his commission and go into private life. He was then later recruited to become president. That's what I have, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just so I told the mayor this story. The Battle of Van Nest Mill. Van Nest Mill was the location of the mill. There was a mill on that location right up until it fell into the river in the 1980s on what we call the Manville Causeway or the Weston Causeway. That location was Van Ness Mill, and that's where that battle took place. And my son, when he was in 2nd grade, did his school project on the Battle of Van Ness Mill, and it required the creation of a diorama. Painful, as you all may be aware who have children, making a diorama with a 2nd grader, and I remember it well. And that's when I learned about the Battle of Van Ness Mill. Interesting story, because we did win that one, a skirmish with the regular British military. 2 announcements. One, for all students entering grades 7 through 11, if you are interested in the Franklin Township Youth Council, which is an award-winning organization here for students grades 7 through 11, actually 7 through 12, ages 12 through 18. Sign-ups are available now. Application deadline is September 23rd. All of the information is on the website. And then for the adults in the room, not the children. Third quarter tax bills are delayed. This happens just about every year as we wait for the county tax board to certify our tax rates. The moment that our tax rates are certified, those third quarter tax bills will become available. If in the event that there's a delay beyond that August 1st date, then there will be an extension with no penalty if necessary. So just be aware that your third quarter tax bills are delayed. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I don't think anybody would complain about the fact that their tax bill was late.
If they went away for good, well, I can't promise you that at all. There will be a third quarter tax bill.
But there was one thing I forgot to say. We had fireworks here in Franklin Township, and they were spectacular, even though it rained like cats and dogs.
We did, and so that, you know, some people question, you know, why we didn't cancel the fireworks. I'll just give you a little rundown on how this works. And this has been, I've been on the committee for fireworks since 2000, and the call to have or not have fireworks is made right around 8 o'clock in the morning on the day of the fireworks. And generally myself, John House, the fire prevention official, Quavella Mayweather from the police department, Stephen Dahl from the recreation department. So we look at all of the different sources for weather forecasting that are available, including there's a localized forecast subscription that the county subscribes to. And what Thursday called for was the chance of a rain or a thunderstorm between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. And we looked at the long-range forecast because Friday the 11th was the rain date for the fireworks, and the forecast, the long-range forecast was for rain from, I think it's probably raining out now, Tuesday through Saturday of this week. And you know, what do they say? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. The weather was beautiful on Thursday morning. There was a chance of showers or a thunderstorm between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., so we made the decision to go. Once the fireworks company begins all of the work in preparation for the launch pad, it's not something that we can just undo. So while it was not ideal, and I was not, you know, it just continued to extend, right? And you know, if I had a direct line to Mother Nature's ear, I would have, you know, called it and said, please cut us a break here. New Brunswick went through the same thing Thursday night. Theirs were scheduled for Boyd Park. They wound up delaying theirs, but continue having them on Thursday night because they had the same situation. Sometimes we get lucky. Sometimes we have what we experienced on Thursday. But the people who were here stuck it out. When it rained, we made the buildings available for shelter, or they went out to their cars and sat and waited in their parking lot like I did with my wife and the mayor 2 cars over from me, waited for it to let up a little bit, and then we, I don't know, got some food and watched fireworks. So,
I didn't know you could do fireworks in the rain. I learned something.
There was one issue where the Nixle went out and said it was going to be at 9:30, but they went off earlier at 9:15.
Well, we were supposed to go at 9:15, and what happened was that the company asked if we could delay it to 9:30 so that they could get all of the tarps off and get prepared to launch, and that was going to take them a few minutes beyond the 9:15 time. And then it started to drizzle again once all the tarps were off, so they said we need to launch them now. So it was either launch them earlier than what was anticipated with the 9:30 Nixle, or then they may not have all gone off because they may have gotten wet. They didn't want to wait any longer with the rain.
Okay, I know there are questions about that. So.
And those questions, I think, have been answered by at least one of the elected officials up here who chimed in on social media in some manner, as I was told by a resident this afternoon when I called her about her email to me. And that would be the mayor.
Okay, council comments are over. Item number 10, council discussion items, there are none. Item number 11, approval of the minutes, there are none. Item number 12, time to pay the bills. Warrants in the amount of $2,800,814.88 on July 8th, 2025 are presented to the Township Council for payment. Do you have a motion on the warrants?
I move that the warrants as read be paid.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone would like to pull an item, question an item? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potasnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Udine? Yes. Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Community Development Block Grants, Consolidation Plan for 2025 through 29. Public hearing and annual action plan, CDBG 2025. Do I ask for unanimous consent to open to the public? Hearing no dissenters, we are open to the public. Same rules as last time, but can only talk about community development block grants. I ask for unanimous consent to close to the public. Seeing no negatives, no one declining, we are closed to the public. Resolution 25-290, adopt CDBG program consolidation plan 2025 through 29 and first year action plan 2025 is presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
Then seconded. Any discussion? Only if you have, okay. Thank you. Hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potasnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Udine? Yes. Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Public hearing and adoption on ordinances on second reading. There are none. The first reading is when we announce to the world we're considering something. The second reading is when we actually vote on it, and there's a time for the public to speak on it. There are no first readings. There are no second readings. There are first readings. The first is ordinance number 4471-25, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 115, dogs and other animals, with the addition of Article 7, wildlife, and Article 8, free-roaming cat colonies. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading and posting and publication in accordance with law and public hearing and final adoption at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on Tuesday, August 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
So I totally get what you were talking about, the fact that, people, we have these colonies, and now we're setting up rules and regulations about how to care for them, when some of us don't want them at all. So I understand your concern and the situation and the concern over public health and all the nuisance that we have to deal with these cat colonies. I think the township manager, he explained it in a way that helped me better understand what we were trying to get at with this ordinance to enforce. If we're going to have them, then we have to figure out a way to regulate that. But they are a nuisance, and it's hard for me to believe that people like to do this kind of stuff. I'm not a cat lover. We spend a lot of time talking about this, but we always have to weigh both sides of the coin. So that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
So I think that's exactly right. We're trying to please both sides to some degree. We certainly need something to decrease the cat population or decrease this practice. And what we're basically saying is you can feed a cat, but you own it then. That cat is yours, and you can't just decide, I'm going to feed it on Tuesdays. You have to first capture the cat, then you have to have it neutered, spayed or neutered. You have to have rabies shots. You got to get rabies shots every year. So you're going to have to, or you can get 3-year shots too. But you've got to do that. You are responsible for the cat. And if it bothers your neighbor, then you've got to make it not bother the neighbors anymore, or you have to remove the cat. When it comes to HOAs, I think the HOA becomes responsible. So if you live in an HOA and you wanted to have cats, a cat colony, then the HOA's got to get the license, and I just don't think they will. But if everyone in the HOA wants cat colonies, then they will. It's a very steep hill to climb. You asked a question in your email about bowls of water or leaving water out. I initially was going to do that just for droughts, but the managers pointed out a good point that he didn't believe water would attract animals unless there's not a good source of water around. I think in droughts it's important because, well, I think we have affected the climate of this planet so that we can have extreme weather, and I would hate to crash a squirrel colony or the fox in the area because there's just no water available. So that's why I put it for droughts, but he thought it better that we just not include water as a food. This does allow for people to have bird feeders. We want them 5 feet off the ground so they're not attracting turkeys and geese. And the other exemptions for hunters who put out bait for animals. That's state law. We can't really affect that, and we didn't want to confuse the issue. The fines are pretty steep for breaking this, although I will admit they're half of what I came up with the fines on my own, and then I looked at the Hillsborough ordinance, and Hillsborough's are twice what ours are. First offense, $100. Second offense, $200. Third and all other offenses after that, $500. So that's what I have to say about it. Other people?
I have a couple of comments, Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have two concerns mainly. The one is in my last house in Warren, we noticed suddenly below our deck there was a cat colony living, and we didn't feed them. So we called animal control, and they came and set the traps to take them away. And then it turns out my neighbor was feeding these cats, and they were living under our deck. I think, thank you for your email, Valerie. So I remembered that incident. So one of the things that she mentioned was the cats can read our ordinance. Right? They don't know the boundaries. So they go eat wherever they can find the food, and they go live wherever they can find a shelter. Right? So that's a problem that I had firsthand experience, and I think she pointed at. So I'm concerned about that. Right? So we need to think about that. And secondly, the enforcement. I know the manager loves to do the enforcement side of it, and he says it's not a problem, that they can handle it. But are we going to open up a Pandora's box? Are we going to have hundreds of calls for enforcement with neighbors complaining on each other, and are we prepared to handle that? So I think
We have that now.
Oh, okay, well, you'll get your time. Sorry.
We have it now. I mean, that's the point.
All right. So
he's quite correct. It's his time.
All right. So I have concerns about this, and I think it might, rather than rushing into it and doing something that then we repent at a later date, should we kind of discuss this more, or maybe delay it a little bit and get more input and have
So
some more discussions.
I'll take that as a motion to table. Do we have a second on the motion to table?
Second.
Moved and seconded. The only thing you're allowed to debate about tabling is the time you wish to table it till.
You can table indefinitely. You don't have to have a time.
Yeah, right. That's one of the things, one of the choices. You could do for a week, a month, or indefinitely. So what does the motioner wish to table it to?
I think until we have a thoughtful discussion and come up with a acceptable way of handling the situation, I think we should table it. It could be 30 days, it could be 60 days, 90 days, or indefinite. I don't know. I can't say.
A motion to table indefinitely effectively just means that it just gets.
It goes away.
Well, it goes away until somebody makes a motion to put it back.
Mhm.
That's all it is. It's not anything other. And as a practical matter, it hasn't been introduced yet. So from, there's Robert's Rules of Order, which is how we typically handle things. But with regards to ordinances, if it doesn't get introduced, it's tabled indefinitely.
Oh.
Okay.
So either a motion to table it or a motion, or the defeat of the motion to introduce it does the same thing. Because you can always bring it back.
Anyone? Pardon?
What's the timeline?
So the motion is to table it indefinitely, which is effectively the same as not introducing it.
Any other discussions on when we should table it to?
I have a question to send to the person motioning.
Go ahead.
Would you consider amending your motion to amending, and I don't know, Lou will give us guidance, whether it's an ordinance or just a directive, to get this moving along, but to review all these concerns by the administrative committee, say in a year from now or whatever reasonable time everybody feels is reasonable, to see if it needs to be amended or to see if it's working. Because I share some of your concerns, but a lot of them the manager did put my mind to rest to. So I don't want to keep it from moving forward, but I think it's important enough that you specifically take a look and see how the concerns have played out, and then obviously administration committee can come back and recommend amendments. But this way we can get it out of the gate. Sorry to make that so long, but is that something that the?
I don't know what you're saying.
So
I think the motioner does.
So I can say maybe this being the summer, I don't know if we have admin committees meeting in the summer where you can deliberate. So maybe a 90-day window.
Well, no. What I was saying is allow it to be voted, maybe, hopefully approved, introduced. But, I was talking about like a year from now, the committee reviews the concerns. But I guess you can review the concerns, and if you want to amend on the second reading, as the attorney pointed out, I believe that would probably delay it and have to go through a reintroduction. I'm ready to move it along. I just want to know that the concerns and the review of how this is playing out would be done down the road, because I think it's important enough to go back and take a look at, but to get it, does that make sense?
No. I think we're discussing it until when we're going to.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm okay with bringing it back and give it a 90-day window, and then we can reintroduce it.
Talking about.
That's not what he's saying. He's saying introduce.
No, he's saying introduce it and adopt it. You're saying table it. They're not saying the same thing.
No, introduce it, but have the motion that it specifically, formally will be reviewed. So those concerns.
But once you introduce it,
once you introduce it, there's no.
But once you introduce it, you can't significantly change it. You have to reintroduce it.
There was a motion to table in a second. We should move on. We should move on.
And what the 90-day window is now the window, not indefinitely?
No, I'm okay with the 90-day window too. I can amend my.
You can amend it.
Yeah. So give us some time to.
So I would like it to be indefinite because I want to bring it back much faster than 90 days.
Okay.
So, do we have to vote on the motion?
We have to. So will you amend your
Let's call
motion
it
to
indeterminate.
indefinite?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll amend it indefinitely.
This motion to table.
Yeah, motion to table, so they can bring it back.
Just reintroduce it at the next
Yeah.
meeting if you wanted to,
So
Mayor.
motion to table, and Ms. Udine, you seconded it, so your second, okay. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
No.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
No.
Deputy Mayor Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
No.
5 yeses and 3 nos.
Yeah, it's tabled. So we are now, I gotta find my place. We did first reading. Item B, ordinance 4472-25, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 50, Police Department, Section 50-8, requirements for appointment to the force. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting and publication in accordance with law, public hearing and final adoption at the meeting of the Township Council to be held on August 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. Do we have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Moved and seconded for discussion. This is clearing up some paperwork. It's an administrative.
It's technical changes.
Technical changes. Thank you. Very well put. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Councilman Embarrasson. Councilman.
What was that?
This is a motion to introduce the ordinance regarding the police department, the technical changes.
Yeah, yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Mr. Manager, please stop confusing my councilman.
Sometimes I need to speak with them without you hearing me what I'm saying. How about that?
Consent agenda.
You can't really not even
Consent agenda, items A through U, as listed in the consent agenda portion of this meeting, are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone want to pull an item, discuss an item?
No.
Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dean? Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Wait a second. The,
You're right.
no, Resolution 251312, adopting the 2025 Somerset Hazard Mitigation, County Mitigation.
I think the letters are mixed up, but
I think that we're here, right?
it's okay. Everything's fine. Everything was adopted, nothing was pulled.
Right, so now we're here.
Okay. All right.
It's actually 25-3-12, right? Yeah. On the Granicus agenda, it's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Resolution 25-314, oh, I'm sorry. Item number 17, resolutions to be voted on separately. Resolution 25-314, strongly urging reconsideration of a three-way stop at the Canal Road Griggstown Causeway intersection. Do we have a motion do we have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Moved in second. Mr. Potosnik, would you like to?
Well, I appreciate this item on the agenda. There was a meeting just about a week ago now at the county to go over option, I want to get it right now, 2A, which is a improvement around the Griggstown Causeway, which would be the addition of 2 lights on either side of the causeway, on Causeway Road on the Franklin side, and then on the River Road side, they would be synchronized and timed, and the flow of traffic would be something like northbound on River Road, then southbound on River Road, then a pause to clear the causeway, then from Franklin to Montgomery, Hillsborough, then a pause to clear the causeway, and so forth, just going back and forth, because it's a very dangerous intersection. Cars kind of go out into the front and do like a staring match on how they should go. In addition, as part of the study, they looked at the Griggstown Causeway intersection with Canal Road and the Canal Road intersection with Bunker Hill Road, and recommended at Bunker Hill and Canal the addition of 2 more stop signs on the northbound and southbound side, so it would be a 3-way stop. But at the intersection of Griggstown Causeway and Canal Road to put in a light. And I had questions at that meeting, and the mayor was with me as well, about the light versus a 3-way stop sign, which would be more in the historic characteristics of the neighborhood. And so this resolution would be to ask them to reconsider the 3-way stop sign as part of the design. The question was submitted. They're unable to answer anything, because I think we had another resolution we were going to consider in supporting option 2A along with this, but they want to wait till the comment period closes next week on Tuesday. So if folks have comments on the plan, they should submit them by then, before they respond to any comments. So this one is just putting on record that we would like to see a stop sign there, and if it can be done safely and not disrupt the plan. And then they can consider that as well as part of their comments, and when they get back to us, we'll have a better idea with what the response is. So that's kind of what we're doing here tonight.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Resolution 25-313, appoint Robert Russo as Township Engineer for 2025 and award fair and open professional service agreement 2025 Township Engineers Services, Center State Engineering, amount not to exceed $267,500. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Old business, 2025 boards, committees, commissions. Does anyone have a nomination? Hearing none. We have no executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Be well, Franklin.